I take it every one of you motherfuckers can hear me. Sorry for the language. What am I saying? Why am I be sorry? Look, okay. To say the least, a couple of y'all niggas been feeling hot. All I gotta say is, if y'all motherfuckers feeling hot, I just hope you know all my guns got heat sensors. Anywho. So, Naruto What If. This is the second one. I haven't uploaded the first one. It's a completely other what if. But this will be what if Naruto was in a coma. And I got the idea from Imagine Old People. But this is gonna be different. Like, built different. But, anywho. So, Naruto. So, this happens with the Rasengan and Chidori clash. When fucking edgy emo boy tried to murder this nigga. Well, try to get him off his back, but you get what I mean. So, like Naruto, he had unleashed 2 tails of power instead of 1, I'm gonna say. But, Naruto, he said, no. It's too much power for even Sasuke to handle. I don't want to hurt him. I just want to bring him back. And so he deactivates his Rasengan right before it hits. And then Sasuke's Chidori, because I'm going to say, we're going to buff Sasuke a little bit. I'm going to say Sasuke has access to the gates. So he had opened 3 gates, which is what allowed Naruto to, grab the 2 tails. But yeah. And he stabs a hole straight through Naruto. Like, straight through. And he didn't realize what he had done. And he says, no. No. And Naruto, he says, his eyes are like hazing away, and he says, well, at least we finally know which one of us is stronger. Huh, Sasuke? Let me fix this issue right quick. Naruto doesn't say that. I'm saying that. Fucking battery. Go off a low power mode. I get you was at 13%, but still. Anywho. So, then, Sasuke, anywho, so Sasuke, he laughs, and then tears run down his face, and he says, I never meant for it to come to this. We both kept pushing. I feel so stupid. And so, to freaking Sasuke, it looks like Naruto's dead because his heartbeat temporarily stopped. Because, like, legit, if you take half of a man's freaking side, don't you think they would be dead? Nah, nigga. Healing factor, because this nigga got the full 9 tails. But, also, I want to add, this nigga's treatment, when he was younger, 1,000 times worse. And yet, he still wants to protect the leaf. But yeah. And so Naruto's hair is still like long, but so where you see this one right here, like this long strand, and like the just like so like the really long strands, like them long ones, he doesn't have those. He just has like the shorter spikier hair. But he and Sasuke, he leaves with tears in his eyes, and Sasuke unlocks his Mangekyo Sharingan. And Sasuke does whatever the fuck Sasuke does. And then Kakashi gets there a few minutes later. And he sees Naruto on the ground in a pool of blood. He says, "No." And he runs over and he sees the huge hole. Well, huge, but I mean freaking half of a man's fucking chest. And like he sees like his flesh and stuff starting to rebuild a little. So he picks up Naruto on his back, takes him back to Leaf Village, and he goes straight to the hospital, and he says, "I need Tsunade now." And like they're like, "What?" And like the nurse throws up from the state that Naruto's in. And like Naruto's clothing, it basically looks the same, but he didn't have the Akatsuki cloak. Okay. But Naruto, while all this is going on, he wakes up in his mindscape with Kurama. He says, "So this is how I go. It was nice knowing you, Kurama." And Kurama says, "Nice knowing you too, kid." Goodbye. And Naruto starts fading away. Because, like, Kurama did, like, feel for this kid, because Miyuto asked him, "Hey, even though you're doing all this, could you still be kind to my son for me? For even just a little. Please." And so he says, "Sorry, Minato. Guess I won't be able to uphold that promise." And Naruto fades away, and he meets the Sage of Six Paths, and he says, "Hello, son." And he says, "Nigga, son? What? Nigga, you my dad?" Because if so, is this heaven? And if so, where's Ichiraku ramen? Like, there's gotta be some place with ramen around here. Like, nigga, couldn't have a last meal or nothing down there on Earth. So, where's it at? Up here. He says, relax. You're not dead. You won't be able to die with how good Kurama's healing factor is. But he explains, "Hey, nigga, you my child, basically." And he says, "Alright, Pops." So he says, "Hold out your hand." And so he gives Naruto the Sun Seal. And I'm a buff Sasuke just a little bit. I'm gonna say he's Hagoromo's brother's reincarnation, and Naruto is Indra and Ashura's reincarnation. So Indra and Ashura come out. They say, alright. They both like fist bump him, and he gets like all of his strength, like all of it. This nigga's freaking beautiful. Like, just beautiful. So much strength, so much power. But then he says, thanks. Can I go now? And they say, no. Your body in the outside world is in a coma. You're going to stay like that in the outside world for 2 years. In here, it'll be more like 5 million. You'll train with Kurama and us. Okay? And Hagoromo says, but not me. I have to leave. And he says, alright, Gramps. And so Hagoromo, they go back to the normal mindscape, and he says, I thought you were gone, kid. Father? And he says, how's it been, Kurama? He says, what have you been doing all this time? All they've done is torture me. And then they were about to take this one from me. The one that treated me with an ounce of respect. As a being. And he's like crying. And he says, don't worry. And then Indra and Ashura are like, baby brother, what's wrong with you? You're usually hot-headed. Come on. He says, shut up, damn it. And they say, whatever. Just know you're crying in front of the kid. And he says, I don't care. I'm happy. And so Hagoromo rips off the seal. Minato and Kushina both appear. And they're like, hey, what? Hey. He's unsealing the Nine Tails now? Why? And they look around, see 3 other niggas, Kurama crying, and then their child's son. And they say, what? Are these men trying to hurt you? And he said, no. I'm their reincarnation. He points at Indra and Ashura. And then he says, that's basically my reincarnation father thing person. And he's also the Sage of Six Paths. So, we're gonna need Kurama's full power to train me, because I almost died. And like, Kushina says, what? And he says, I almost died. Thank God for the Nine Tails. And she cries and she says, my son almost died. And he says, don't worry, it's no biggie. And like, she's crying and stuff like that. And she tells Kurama thank you. And he says, you're welcome, Kushina. And he says, and Naruto says, wait a second, what was that about father, mother, stuff like that? And she says, I'm your mother, Kushina Uzumaki. He says, Mom! Leaps in her arms, hugs her. And then he says, so who's this nigga? And he says, I'm your father, Minato Nami. Man gets punched in the gut by Naruto. And he says, how motherfucking dare you? He says, fuck, you're strong. But yeah. And then, so Naruto in this getup minus the Akatsuki cloak. Says, "Thank you, though, Dad." He says, "You're welcome, son." And they say, "Well, eat well. Love a girl who truly loves you for who you are." And he says, "I will." And then Kurama, Indra, and Ashura at the same time say, "Not Sakura, you dumbass." He says, "Who then?" And they say, "The one that's on your lap right now, in the real world." And he says, what's happening in the real world?" And they say, "Well, they just diagnosed you with a coma, which we were already able to deduce. And the fact that, I don't know, you might be fucking dead." Well, they thought you might have been, but wasn't the case. And he says, "Well, I know that. I wouldn't be standing right here." And he says, Yeah. Shut your trap." But, he says, "Well, who's laying down on my lap?" And he says, "Hinata Hyuga. She's crying as well." And she's cursing at Tsunade and everyone else who decided to send you on the mission to help retrieve Sasuke. He says, "It's so unlike her to flip out. I'll have to apologize to her for making her get angry." And I say, "Nigga, you better be alive to apologize to her, or else we're beating the crap out of you." He says, "What? Why's that?" And they say, "Well, nigga, you would have stranded us with a woman. And when we get stranded with women, we take them to the afterlife." And he says, "I question why I listen to all of you." And, instead of Naruto having amazing freaking sealing jutsu and stuff, he had basically a fusion of Hidan and Kakuzu's immortality. So basically, the nigga's freaking immortal. Already on top of the fact that he has Kurama's chakra to heal him. But, so this nigga, he cracked his back and he says, "Alright, let's get to training." And they say, and then, Kushina and Minato, they say, "Goodbye, son." They fade away, and he says, "My dad was the 4th Hokage. And my mom's the hottest MILF of my series." Such lovely parents. Let's be honest. All people who have watched Naruto can all agree that Kushina is thick. Nigga, Kushina thick. She can't catch this dick. Hey. Girl, I wanna get freaky with you. Anyhow, if you get it, you're really old. And, question, how are you not in a nursing home yet? And if you are, comment. It's like a, 20 some odd year old song? like 19, 20 years old. I don't remember. But he trains and he gets 6 paths sage mode. Oh yeah, he does have both the sun and moon seal. But so that full power chroma link mode, fox sage mode, KCM1, KCM2, chroma avatar mode, I said avatar again, avatar mode, and and I already said 6 paths chakra mode. What else? Oh, and the Sharingan, Eternal Mangekyo, Rinnegan. He does have his Susanoo. It's gray. It basically looks like Kakashi's, but instead of having the scar on its eye, it has the scar on its chest. So his Susanoo abilities are teleportation, Hell Flame Jutsu, which is basically like freaking Amaterasu, but like times 1 billion. Like legit, it's basically strong as fuck. And then Hell's Binding Chains, and Zawarda Kyoko no Tamare. Basically, the ability to stop time. If you can't translate from Japanese, the world stop time. But yeah. And so, like, alright, outside world time. Like, everybody's like, when will he wake up? And Tsunai says, we don't know. It could be a couple days, could be hours, could be minutes. It could be years. We don't know. And so they have to feed Naruto through tubes and all of this stuff. And like Hinata, she like sleeps at the hospital, like whenever she's not doing missions or training. Like she sleeps at the hospital and she'll visit him every time. And he says, she's so cute sleeping like that. But Naruto, he's like oh yeah, and he can do all jutsu. He has all nature types, all chakra types, everything. And his summoning jutsu, his personal summoning jutsu, is Kurama. Yes, man, again. And so, he can do Kurama to where he can be like his Kurama's actual size, and where he can shrink Kurama down to like the size of like a model kit and just like have Kurama like stand on his shoulder. But yeah. And then, so, he says, alright, what's next? Oh, wait, yeah, he can do all jutsu without doing any hand signs or anything like that. And so he says, alright, what's next? And they say, nothing. You finished everything. You know everything that we do. Oh, wait, yeah, he also has wood style and Hashirama cells. But yeah, they did have to, like, pump him with Hashirama cells for, like, just a little bit, just, like, so they could be on the safe side. But yeah. And then, so, he goes and he says, really? That's it? And he says, yeah. The old man has been... The only reason why we didn't say that we could send you back is because, well, we actually didn't know how to send you back, and it's actually been 3 years. So, you're now 16. Because that's how long the time skip was. Like, it was like 2.5 years, so I'm just gonna round it. So, it was 3. Yeah, fight me. Anyhow. So, Naruto, he wakes up in the real world, and, like, the light, like, hurts his eyes. And then he looks around for a minute. And he, like, raises his arm. And he sees, like, that his arms are beginning to get back all the muscle that he had when he was in his mindscape. Because, like, in his mindscape, he got built. Like, this nigga got built. Like, this kind of built. He says, my body's returning to how it should be. And then, Naruto, he goes and, like, he's rubbing, like, patting Hinata's head and, like, running his hands through her hair and, like, petting her head. And then she wakes up and she sees Naruto awake. He says, hey, Hinata, it's been a minute, hasn't it? And she starts crying and, like, she hugs him and he says, ow, 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 ow. My muscle's still coming back. Give me a minute. And she says, Naruto. And he says, it's alright, Hinata. He hugs her, kisses her on the forehead, and he says, I'm back. So, what all did I miss? And she says, for one, 3 of my birthdays, 3 of your birthdays, 3 of Kakashi's, Neji's, Shikamaru's, and she's just running through everybody's names. And he says, I knew that. But, like, anything important? She says, oh yeah. Ichiraku doesn't serve ramen anymore. He says, I should have stayed dead. And she says, yeah, we all knew that's what you were gonna say when you found out. But, she runs out, she gets the nurse, and the nurse is like, this better not be a prank. She's like, ugh, I don't get paid enough for this. She's like, crap, he is. And, like, she runs. She grabs Tsunade and Chizune by the arms. She, like, runs them down the hall. Like, at supersonic speeds. And they're saying, like, this better not be a prank. And she says, I promise you, Lord Fifth, it is not. And they all see Naruto rubbing Hinata's head. And he says, hey, Granny. and they like see like all of his muscle like building up and like coming back, and he says, my muscle during training. It's been a minute. I've missed you. And like it's legit been 1 minute, and she like is like feeling Naruto, because like she's like crying and stuff like that, and like she's like, question, how are you so toned? We fed you through tubes for 3 years. He says, oh, I was just training for a bit in my mindscape. And I say, huh, you could have came out of that coma anytime? And he says, oh, hell no. I could not. But I can show you what I learned. Also, nurse chick, out. I need to show them something. And so, like, he swings his legs out of the bed, and he, like, stands up. And, like, this nigga's 6'7". Or no, 6'7". Give me a sec. I gotta grab some. Oh. I was gonna say, did somebody be my secret stash? Alright, so, people. So, the nurse goes out of the room and they're like, wait, you probably need to conserve your strength. He stands up. They see how tall he is, and they say, nigga, you were short. What's with this? And he says, the miracle of training. And he says, alright, Kurama. And I say, huh? Who's Kurama? And he says, the nine-tailed fox has a name, you know. Now, if you just never bothered to learn it. And I say, huh? He says, yeah. The nine-tailed fox's name is Kurama. And I'm like, wow. Didn't know that. Go on. And so, Kurama, the nine-tailed fox, appears on Naruto's shoulder and he says, hey Naruto, summoned me already? What's the problem? Hello, people. Hello, future wife. And he says, shut up, Kurama. He says, well, I'm just being honest. But, like, he said that looking at Hinata, so, like, Hinata's, like, blushing majorly. And so, also, can we all agree on one thing? Asuma's death was the saddest. That nigga had a kid coming. Like, oh, wait a second, I forgot, it's all a scandal. That nigga fake died. You wanna know why? Because he didn't want to pay no child support. But, So he says, well, this is something that I can do. And then he says, alright. So, uses 6 Paz Sage Mode, Fox Sage Mode, KCM2, plus 6 Paz Chakra Mode, along with his Renegon. And they're like, nigga, what the fuck? Like, they was just questioning how he got so strong. And then he says, now if I were to trip and fall, I'd destroy the earth, the whole planet. So, yeah. And he says, this isn't even my full power, though. And he says, alright. Small Kurama avatar. And, like, Kurama, he poofs off of Naruto's shoulder. And, like, the Kurama avatar, but, like, really, really small and, like, around Naruto's body, appears, and then he says, Susanoo! And then his gray Susanoo armor appears. And he says, this is my full power. And then he has the 2 truth-seeking orbs behind him. And then, he has 2 sickles at his side, 2 katanas, and a scythe on his back. He says, are you amazed? And they're like just speechless. They're like, this nigga. She says, would you like to become Hokage? And he says, yes, I would, but not this time. I don't want to do your paperwork. I could see that shit from a mile away. And she says, damn it. Shizune, get somebody to forge the signings. And they say, alright, I'll have the best copy ninja on it. And he says, alright, don't tell anybody, I mean anybody, that I've woken up though. And I said, alright. And so, Naruto, he gets fitted for new clothes. And they're just these ones. And then, he does have a robe like the Akatsuki's, like, on him. But, instead of the, clouds on there, it doesn't have any clouds, so it's just all black and red. And then he has it on, and then, like, instead of long sleeves, it's short sleeved. So basically it's a hoodie shirt, or whatever you want to call it. A hood shirt. Why am I laughing? I'm from the hood. Well, shit. Anywho. So, Naruto goes and he says, I like the new drip. And, like, Tsunade, she was, like, beating herself up about it because whoever wears the first Hokage's necklace always gets hurt or killed. And she had, like, cried for, like, 2 weeks. She didn't do any Hokage work, nothing. But, yeah. And so, two weeks pass. Basically, the Konoha 10, which it was 10 without Naruto, were gathered, plus Kakashi. Were all gathered. They didn't know why, but they had to be gathered. And, like, Hinata, she's mastered her Lion Fist and a whole bunch of other techniques, like dog. Oh, yeah. And, I want to do something for her. So, you know the Two Tails? Yeah, they took it out of the one chick, and they put it into Hinata, just 'cause. But yeah, and she can open all other gates, but she's still nowhere near as powerful as Naruto. It's comparing a fucking molecule. To the entire fucking galaxy. Like, or no, entire fucking universe. But yeah. So then, Naruto, like, he has, like, a, robe that, like, covers, like, all of his attire and, like, his entire body. And, like, everybody, they can see, like, there's this man in a hood. And Tsunade, she says, it's been 3 years since Naruto went into a coma. And, like, Hinata, she's still acting, like, really depressed. She was, like, really depressed when Naruto slipped into a coma. Because she loves that man. And so, she was still acting depressed to keep the act up that he was still in a coma. And, like, she, like, lets one fake tear run down her eye. And Naruto, no, they don't. Wait. So, she then says, so, there will be, or no, it was the Konoha 12. So, yeah, it was 11 without Naruto. But, so, she says, there will be a new member assigned to the Konoha 11, making it 12 as it used to be before. And they say, but Naruto could wake up at any moment. And they say, and then she says, true, but we never know when that moment could be. So, we will now welcome the newest member. And, like, Naruto, he stepped forward, and he says, hello, my name is, and, like, he grabs the cloak, and he rips it off, and he says, Naruto Uzumaki, nice to be working with you all. And he smirks, and they say, bitch nigga, you back. He says, wait, who the fuck you calling bitch nigga? And, like, Sakura, she didn't visit whatsoever. Like, at all. None, zip, nada. So he really on that bitch train. Like, he's like, these hoes ain't loyal. But yeah, so and she says, it was really hard keeping it a secret. And I say, hold up, you knew? And she says, yeah, I was lying on his lap for when he got out of his coma, and he patted my head. And they're like, so Naruto, you finally knew. And he says, you only took a couple minutes. Like, I ain't that dumb. Well, not anymore anyway. And they say, yeah. Also, do you know who could have tattooed you? And he says, they think of it as a tattoo, Kurama. And like Kurama, he's freaking laughing. And he says, alright, test the power. All y'all niggas against me. And they say, yeah, wouldn't your body be like kind of frail? And then like he wraps around the cloak, like how he has it in this picture. And he says, do you not see the 17 different seals on my body? The top sealers in the entire shinobi world had to come together to put these on me. There is a reason for it. Because I'm too fucking strong. If one were to break, then that one would be gone forever. They are one-time seals that can never be made again. So, once all of them are broken, I'm basically broken. And I say, what do you mean broken? He means too fucking powerful for this universe. Is what I mean. And I say, And so, he goes and he says, you're all quite weak. And they go, why is that? And he says, because while you all were doing mediocre training, I was training with the Nine Tails. And he's like, huh? You were in a coma? And he says, yes, I was in a coma, but I was training with the Nine Tails. And the Caesar Six Paths and his sons. He says, and that explains these two markings. And he says, alright, all of you against me at once. And I say, fine. We'll go to our full power. They all open up all the gates, because that's what they all train to do, to get stronger. And some of them enter Sage Mode, and he says, Toad Sage Mode. That's it. And then, like, Shikamaru, he does Snake Sage Mode, and he says, decent. But, what about this? Caesar Six Paths Sage Mode. Fox Sage Mode. Rine Sharingan. Kurama Avatar. Like the one that goes over his body. And then, KCM2. Plus, Six Paths Chakra Mode. And then he says, for the icing on the cake, Susanoo. And then the Susan armor and weapons appear, and he says, get ready. And they're all like, ah. He says, you wanted full power, come on. And so Hinata, she uses her, like, you know how Naruto in the four-tail state got covered by the red chakra and became basically an embodiment of the nine tails? That's what happens to her. Or, no. Hinata will have the 7 tails instead of the 2 tails. She won't have Matatabi. Yes, I remember the name now. But, so, she unleashes 3 tails. Yeah, 3 tails, and goes into that state, and he says, decent for a child. And they're all like, So, like, they're all in their, like, strongest forms and all that. And he says, alright, come on. And, like, Kakashi, he's using his Susanoo as well. And, like, Naruto, he just stands there and he says, alright, if y'all can move me from this spot, I'll buy ramen. And he say, you know that, he says, sorry, correction, I'll make ramen. And he say, okay. Next time on What If Naruto Went Into a Coma. Will Naruto beat that ass? Will Naruto clap Hinata? Will Hinata make love with Naruto? Find out next time on What If Naruto Was in a Coma. Peace, bitch nigga.